getting there. I need to be with you.
Yeah, definitely.
Four of us. I'm with the commission, and I'm trying to get the
Nobody expected this to happen. Not in the ring, not at the airport, and definitely not between two of boxing's biggest stars. Just hours after trading cold words in public, Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez reportedly crossed paths again, and this time, things almost exploded. Witnesses say the tension was unreal. Teams stepped in, voices got louder, and suddenly the dream fight boxing fans have been begging for felt more personal than ever before. For months, Crawford has been chasing Canelo nonstop. After beating Madrimov, he made it clear he wants the biggest challenge possible. He called out Canelo publicly, mocked him for avoiding serious talks, and even labeled him a duck. But Canelo fired back hard. According to him, Crawford is simply too small, too light, and too easy to be worth the trouble. Those words clearly hit a nerve. Now the boxing world is divided. Some fans believe Crawford's speed, ring IQ, and undefeated mentality could shock the world. Others think he's walking into a nightmare against a naturally bigger monster who has crushed champions across multiple divisions. And let's be honest, Canelo has heard this story before. Confident fighters step up thinking they can outbox him until they feel his power. But Crawford doesn't seem scared at all. In fact, he sounds obsessed with proving people wrong. He says this is the fight the entire world wants, a modern David versus Goliath showdown that could become one of the biggest events in boxing history. The problem? Canelo reportedly wants a massive $150 million payday before even considering it. So what's really going on here? Is Crawford truly chasing greatness? Or chasing one final mega paycheck before retirement? And is Canelo avoiding a risky stylistic nightmare, or simply refusing to entertain a smaller fighter with too much confidence? One thing is certain, after that airport confrontation, this fight just became a whole lot more real. And if these two ever step into the same ring, the entire boxing world will stop and watch. The most important fight since then is Canelo versus Crawford. In an interview after Edgar Berlanga's most recent fight, Crawford called Canelo a duck for not wanting to have a serious conversation about a possible fight. He was making fun of Canelo's refusal to face him in the ring in what many people think could be one of the biggest fights in recent boxing history. When Canelo was asked about Crawford's callout, he first shrugged it off and said, "I don't have anything to say about it." But when pushed even more, Canelo wouldn't back down. He flatly turned down Crawford's offer, saying that the welterweight king was too easy and too light for him. In Canelo's mind, Crawford wasn't a real threat, so he knew that fighting him wouldn't be worth his time.
Yes! Let's go! Canelo, come on!
You heard it from him?
We are ready!
Yeah, just put me in the game, coach. Just put me in the game. Canelo.
That should have been the end of it. But Crawford had had enough of these two, and things got worse quickly when they ran into each other at the airport. Both fighters were with their teams, and neither, especially Crawford, looked like they wanted to leave. Still angry about being fired, Crawford is said to have approached Canelo about the too easy comment. And things got physical almost right away.
With Turkey Al-Sheikh calling you out, what's your response to Terence Crawford's call out tonight?
No comment.
All of this is interesting because Crawford just recently said nice things about Canelo in his fight against Berlanga. Canelo once again showed why he's one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world. He dropped Berlanga early in the fight and controlled most of the action, even though Bonga showed heart and determination to recover from the knockdown. Canelo's performance, well expected, left no doubt that he was still the best.
I heard him say, "I'm easy work." If I was easy work, you would take all that money that he's offering you. But yet and still, he want $200 million for Benavidez, and he want $150 million to fight me. So that just lets me know right there that I'm a threat to him. I'm a threat to.
While Crawford's praise for both boxes showed how much he loved the sport, it also made it clear that he was determined to fight Canelo. Just recently, Crawford moved up to super welterweight, and he wants to fight Canelo next. He says he won't stop until the fight happens. The possible fight would be to weight classes above where Crawford currently fights. But the native of Omaha doesn't seem to mind the change in size.
You know, realistically left your mind once he said he's not interested, or you still pursuing it?
Not at all. You know, I think business talks.
Crawford's win over is a real move and his first long-distance fight in 8 years, which has made some experts wonder if his power might be fading as he moves up in weight class in search of a tough and durable opponent. Took Crawford the full distance, making it a competitive fight. While Crawford's power is still one of his best qualities, the bigger question is how it will work against Canelo, who has shown over and over that he can handle the Even with these doubts, Crawford is still set on fighting Canelo. In the same interview, he made it clear that he still wants to fight, saying that he thinks it is the fight that the whole world wants to see.
They're two great pound-for-pound fighters, and if they feel like, you know, it makes sense and they want to fight each other, stylistically, it's a great fight. But, you know, Canelo, he's a big dude. So I think it'd be hard for anyone to beat him at 168. But, you know, it's definitely a big money fight, and that's why we're all in boxing, you know, to make the biggest fight.
When Crawford talks about the possible fight, his confidence is clear. He knows Canelo is bigger than him, but that doesn't scare him. In fact, it makes him want to take on a challenge like Canelo even more. Because that's what boxing is all about, pushing yourself to your limits and facing the toughest opponents you can find.
Couldn't phase Canelo Alvarez. The power of Jaime Munguia couldn't phase Canelo Alvarez. The power of Triple G couldn't phase Canelo Alvarez. The power of Kovalev couldn't phase Canelo Alvarez. The power of Berlanga couldn't phase Canelo Alvarez. The power of Daniel Jacobs couldn't phase Canelo Alvarez. The power of Caleb Plant couldn't phase Canelo Alvarez. ¿Qué Buck Crawford le va a hacer a ese tigre? Ustedes no vieron Buck Crawford versus Mastromoff. What power did Buck Crawford have? Put me in the game, coach. No, you're the 15th man in the roster. You will sit in the bench.
Well, even though Crawford is confident because of his great career record, the fight with Canelo is much tougher. Canelo has beaten some of the best fighters in many weight classes and is known for having a high IQ and a lot of experience. He would be meeting Crawford, who has dominated the lighter weight classes, which would be a clash of styles, skills, and physical traits for now. Canelo hasn't said who he will fight next, but after the fight with Berlanga, he said that he wants to.
This fight right here is like the last of the Mohicans. You know, we both come in an era where Floyd Mayweather was #1 pound for pound, Showtime, and HBO era, that type of era. So I think this fight will be massive.
But from here on out, things are only going to get more interesting. Some might say that Berlanga won on a moral level by making it to the end, but for Canelo Alvarez, it was another night when his power wound his opponent without giving his fans the finish they've come to expect. This is the 4th fight in a row that Alvarez knocked out his opponent but still won by decision. It seems like Canelo has reached a point where no victory is enough to silence the doubters. But then again, maybe it's not about what he's already done, but what's to come. Whatever the critics say, though, is hard to ignore. Since his loss to Dimitri Bivol in May 2022, Canelo has fought a lot of talented, but not quite the same level fighters. Canelo was a -1,600 favorite to beat Bonga, and there are more and more rumors that boxing's biggest star needs a real challenge to make his career feel dangerous and exciting again. That's where Terence Crawford comes in. He sees himself as Canelo's next big challenger. Crawford, famous for his accuracy, speed, and ring IQ, has compared the possibility of moving up in weight to fight Canelo to the famous fight between Marvin Hagler and Roberto Duran in 1983. Except that this time, Crawford said confidently, "The smaller guy wins this fight," but before any serious talks about Crawford and Canelo can start, Canelo has another big fight coming up, a possible rematch with Dimitri Bivol, where the stakes could be higher than ever. Canelo lost to Bivol in their first fight, but the judges' scores were suspiciously close. If Bivol wins, he will face Arthur Beterbiev for the undisputed light heavyweight championship. Canelo is already looking forward to the rematch because he wants revenge and the chance to become the undisputed champion in a second weight class.
Terrence, any chance your kids become UFC champions?
No,
Why not?
they don't pay you enough.
Canelo is a tough boxer who never backs down from a challenge. The fact that he lost to Bivol drives him. He met the damage to his left wrist that needed surgery after his third fight with Gennady Golovkin in September 2022. Nothing was right in that fight for me, Canelo has said. It's interesting to think about Canelo coming back at full strength to settle the score with Bivol, but there's also a chance that the same thing will happen again. Even if Canelo is ready to fight again, he will probably be in a place he has never been before as the underdog. After Beater Beef is a fighter with a clean co-record who makes his opponents afraid. Bivol is already a little favorite to beat him. Canelo said nice things about Bivol's skills, but it was clear that he only wants to fight Bivol and not after Beater. What if Bivol loses the October showdown? The idea of a repeat might go away, but even if Bivol wins, there's another problem that could come up: weight class. Canelo wants a rematch at 175 pounds, which is the weight class where Bivol beat him before. But Bivol, feeling strong after showing he can beat Canelo at light heavyweight, wants a rematch at 168 pounds, where Canelo holds the undisputed super middleweight title. The weight issue is important. Casual fans may not think much of it, but for fighters at this level, a few extra pounds can make all the difference. But Canelo has power because Bivol could make the most money from fighting Canelo. This might be enough to get Bivol to agree to the repeat on Canelo's terms. At the same time, Canelo doesn't seem interested in a fight with another name that keeps coming up: David Benavidez. The young, hungry Mexican-American fighter has been calling Canelo out for a long time, hoping to force a fight, but even though Benavidez did well against Alexander Gvozd, Canelo doesn't seem interested in fighting him.
Options for rematch, he didn't use it. Now he gonna fight again against someone not for me. I don't know if he wants to fight me or not, but I'm not.
For now, it looks like a fight between Benavidez and Canelo is no longer possible. But there is one more wild card in this deck. Crawford, the 37-year-old former undisputed welterweight champion, just made his start at 154 pounds. He barely beat his real MOTIVE by decision. MOTIVE was a tricky boxer who many people thought was underrated, even though he didn't look strong. Crawford is still very sure that Canelo will be his next big test, even though the weight difference is alluring. Canelo has been fighting at 168 pounds or more for years, while Crawford has never fought heavier than 154 pounds. But Crawford didn't seem to mind the weight difference. He was sure that his skills would be enough to beat Canelo's. Bigger doesn't always win fights. Crawford set up a line that shows how he has always been able to beat the odds in his career. Canelo versus Crawford would be a huge fight, maybe even the biggest ever. Boxing fights between middleweights and lighter weights are always popular with fans who want to see two of the best boxers go head-to-head. Crawford isn't very tall, but he thinks he can win this fight and make history. There's something about this fight that makes me think I can win. According to Crawford, stepping up in weight classes to fight Canelo would be a huge deal that would shock the boxing world. For Canelo, the idea of fighting Fit offers intrigue. He's a well-known star, but Canelo himself said, "If I beat him, nobody's going to say he beat Fit because Canelo's a talented fighter. He's pound for pound outstanding too, but he's smaller." Canelo's motivation isn't just to win. While Canelo admitted that he would have to take fights that make financial and competitive sense, Crawford said that if the height fight happens, the only things that would worry him are Canelo's strength and size. However, Crawford doesn't seem scared, which suggests that his better reach and speed could make up for those differences. On the other hand, Canelo's irritation at being asked about this matchup over and over again suggests that he may be growing tired of it. Had enough of Crawford's. The Mexican star is determined and has already set the price for the fight at an unbelievable $150 million. Crawford is not going to give up, even though the odds of the fight happening are very low. When asked about Crawford's pursuit, Slim Canelo has given a clear answer. He wants $150 million, which shows how much he values himself in this possible clash. He is not going to take the bait unless the conditions are perfect. He is at the top of his game, and his record shows it. He is the best in several weight classes, and his strength and speed make him a tough opponent for anyone. Even for a fighter like Crawford, who is usually smaller, saying that all he needs to worry about is Canelo's strength and size is too simple, as if he doesn't see how dangerous the situation is. Canelo shows up in the ring. Canelo has been a wrecking ball, destroying opponents who came in with the same amount of confidence. Crawford's speed and reach might help, but Carlo's smart strategy and ability to change tactics in the middle of a fight are more likely to beat them. His faith comes from the fact that he has a perfect record of 41 wins and no losses, with 31 knockouts. Tom has shown again and again that he is one of the best boxers. It is well known that he is willing to take on bigger opponents, and he doesn't seem afraid to do so. It's true that Canelo has faced bigger opponents before, and Crawford says that this makes him ready for whatever Canelo brings to the table. However, more and more boxing fans and experts think that Crawford is taking on too much. However, Canelo is more than just bigger. He's also a skilled, experienced, and powerful fighter who could make things hard. People who know Crawford have never seen him, so determined to get this fight with Canelo. This has led to claims that he is just looking for a big payday before quitting. Some people think this is a lazy move, especially since he could fight any of the best fighters at 154 and 147 pounds instead. They say he should fight the best in those weight classes and build a reputation through hard work and determination. It's hard to say no to Crawford's idea that he can get a big payment faster. The money would be huge for a fighter who is almost done with his career. It makes sense for Crawford to want a big windfall to end his trip, but it doesn't look good, and many fans are getting tired of him asking for a fight that doesn't seem likely to happen anymore, even though there is a lot of excitement about it. Canelo and Crawford have both said that they want to fight each other. For Crawford, it would be the biggest fight in boxing because it would feature two of the best fighters in the world pound-for-pound rankings. It sounds like a great fight on paper, smaller and faster. Boxing fans have always been interested in the famous David vs. Goliath storyline between Crawford and Canelo, who is bigger and stronger. But it's hard to shake the feeling that this fight is more about the show than the sport. The question still stands, does Crawford really think he can beat Canelo, or is this all just a way for Canelo to get that one big payday? It might feel like going backwards to fight Crawford. Legacy has already won divisions, fought the best, and become one of the biggest names in the sport. Fighting Crawford might not give much in terms of legacy. Canelo has always seemed more interested in challenges that push him, like going up in weight or fighting dangerous opponents like Dimitri Bivol or Caleb Plant. Fighting Crawford, who is naturally smaller, could be seen as an unfair matchup, and Canelo might be afraid that even if he wins, the winner will be viewed as weak. What do you think about all of this? Please post them below, and don't forget to click like, sign up for the channel to get more content like this. See you in the next video.